Long before the age of man, there was a void, a vast expanse of empty space, without light and without darkness. Et-Namu was the ruler of the void. Et-Namu met Avalon, who was the product of his first thought. They were the only ones who inhabited the void, and existed before all else was made. Without language to communicate or bodies to gesture, they existed in a silent bliss together. Suddenly, as if caused by an unexpected random thought, Et-Namu began to sing. As he sang, his body materialized into existence. His form resembled a giant man with perfectly smooth, iridescent white skin. Avalon, seeing what great beauty Et-Namu had created for himself, did the same. Avalon began singing. Slowly, his massive form began to fade into existence. Avalon's form resembled a red version of Et-Namu. Before they knew it, Avalon and Et-Namu were singing in perfect harmony together. As their voices clashed, they saw a spark of golden light. This was the first star. Startled by their accidental creation, they went silent. Quietly staring at their creation, Avalon began to sing again. Avalon motioned for Et-Namu to begin singing too. Not long after, another spark of light materialized from the darkness. Before long, their harmonic songs filled the void. What was once an empty expanse of darkness soon became a vast, beautiful canvas of light and colour. The void was filled, thus creating the heavens and beginning the first age. Et-Namu, wanting to share the beauty of their creation with others, created Lumen. Lumen took the same form as the two others, a giant who appeared to glow from within, but this time with a deep greenish hue. Lumen spoke to Et-Namu and said, "There should be an abundance of life. Do you not want appreciation for your creation? Why not share it with a multitude of others? They need not power to create, nor the power to destroy. They need only the ability to live, and marvel at your beauty." Et-Namu agreed, but asked, "On what shall they lay their heads? On what shall raise their young? Surely they can't be suspended among us." Lumen looked around himself. He took one of the largest stars that Et-Namu and Avalon had created, and gripped it in his hands. He squeezed the flame as tight as he could. Lumen loosened his grip and revealed a stone. He did this 3 more times, creating a total of 4 stones, each with a colour and size resembling the star they were created from. Lumen set the 4 stones in motion around a single yellow star. Lumen then said, "They will stand here on each of these 4 stones, and they will fear your might. They will live in peace with one another, and help one another." Et-Namu smiled at Lumen's creation, because he knew it was good, and applauded it. Lumen knew he had pleased Et-Namu, and began creating many animals of land and air, and many plants to inhabit these lands. Each of them lived in harmony with one another. Thus began the Age of Life. Long after the creation of Lumen, and the beginning of the Age of Life, Avalon looked at Lumen's creation with envy, for he too wanted Et-Namu's praise. Avalon wanted to usher in a new age. He began experimenting with the creation of life. Not long after, he created what would come to be called man. Men were created to resemble Et-Namu in form and in beauty. Avalon gave them eternal life and the ability to think, feel, and speak for themselves without aid. Avalon gave them knowledge about how to fight, how to conquer, and how to hunt. He gave them fire and tools so they could practice this knowledge. Man was the most powerful form of life ever created by any of the 3 giants. They had the ability to build, create, and destroy. This made Avalon smile, for surely it would please Et-Namu. Avalon distributed all men evenly onto each planet. Slowly the men began to colonize and build towns, eventually populating each planet entirely. Thus was the Age of Man. Avalon didn't tell Et-Namu right away, because he wanted Et-Namu to notice his marvellous creation for himself. Eventually he did. Et-Namu heard the cries of the animals that inhabited the land and air. They cried out about the tranquility of the lands being disrupted. They were being hunted. Their homes were being destroyed, and used as building materials by man. The air of each planet began to get thick and difficult to inhale. Et-Namu looked at each planet as his fear and fury grew larger and more visible. Et-Namu began to turn dark and grey as the anger consumed him. He was filled with a fury so unfathomably great, he turned around and shouted with a thunderous roar, "Who did this? Who dares to disrupt the peace without my knowing?" Avalon and Lumen turned towards Et-Namu. Avalon, now terrified, attempts to explain his creation to Et-Namu. But before Avalon could say a word, he was struck hard across the head with a mighty blow from Et-Namu's fist. Et-Namu said, "How dare you go behind your own father's back and create such an evil abomination of death and destruction? Do you not see what they've done to these creatures of peace? Man has cut down the homes of the creature of an air. They've killed and eaten many defenceless creatures of these lands. But father, I only wanted to please you as Lumen had the age before. No harm was meant to come of this, Avalon tried to explain. Etnamu replied, Your actions shall not go unpunished. You've created chaos and disorder. Therefore you shall be banned from the heavens, stripped of your powers, and forced to live forever deep under the grounds of the third planet, Earth, where you will rot and wither away. You will be cramped so that every time you move, the world trembles and shakes. You will be the first dead of all your creations, simultaneously kept alive, even after your flesh is rotted away. You will be the bringer of death, the bringer of disease and pestilence. You will be the demise of your own creation. With a wave of Etnamu's mighty palm, Avalon's glow faded. He turned dull and pale in colour. Etnamu then picked Avalon up by his now weak neck and threw him towards Earth. Tears began to roll down Avalon's gaunt cheeks as he huddled towards the planet. His tears splashed against the soil of the planet first, creating massive waves. Upon impact, the planet's crust opened up and engulfed Avalon's entire being. As the Earth's crust moved back together, it created a ravine of unimaginable size and scale. Rather than smiting man from existence, Etnamu said, Your destructive ways shall not go unpunished either. You will continue to live, but no longer will I allow you eternal life. You must reproduce with your own kind in order for your existence to persist. Your future is in your own hands. Half of you will be made women, and the other half men. You will also be forced to live with all other forms of life on the same planet until you can prove to me that you have found balance and peace for yourselves and others. Etnamu relocated all life in the solar system to the same planet, Earth, and there they will stay until they find complete harmony with one another. Upon Avalon's banishment from the heavens, Etnamu also took Lumen's power to create life, due to the fear of Lumen following in Avalon's footsteps. Etnamu created 3 great powers, who all take the same humanly form as the other gods. The first of the 3 was Basilis, who glowed with a deep blue colour. He was created to maintain order among all others. He was considered the vice-king of the heavens. The second was Ardor, who glowed a beautiful pinkish red. Ardor was the first female power. She was to whisper words of empathy and love into the ears of man, in an attempt to fix their destructive ways, so they may eventually reach an age of peace. The last of the powers was Aterio. Aterio glowed with a faint golden light, similar to the first star created by Etnamu and Avalon. Aterio creates health and well-being. He maintains the health and lives of all living beings. Etnamu allowed Lumen to embody life itself, to live within all other living things. Life will persist so long as Lumen's power exists. Lumen is the lifeblood of all animals and man. Etnamu now sits alone on his throne at the centre of the universe, ready to step in and take charge as soon as he deems necessary, or when mankind proves they've learned from their past mistakes. Only then will Etnamu return.